So this is the first, a shortened segment of what's to come on Barbershop Chat, because Mr. Jeff Davis is actually going to become a regular part of the show on a monthly basis. We're going to be doing Barbershop Chat. So we're going to switch gears here, and you're going to give us a little bit of your radio personality. So what's your first topic for Barbershop Chat?
My first topic of the Barbershop Chat is going to be the cancel culture.
Oh, the cancel culture. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna dig into that. And I also have a partner that will join in on with that. He's his name is Calfrey Linwood. He might be listening, but he'll be joining in on that as well. We in this world now, just a little bit of the topic, and diving into that topic. In this world now today, nobody forgives. No, nobody forgives. Everybody wants to bring up people's past, be hypocritical about forgiving or allowing people to say what it is they want to say. Me and you and everybody in this world was born in this world and allowed freedom of choice. Mm-hmm. Now we have no choice in our speech. We have to walk on eggshells in everything we say. And I, like Dave Chappelle, that's why he's another reason why he's not one of my favorite comedians. I'm not gonna walk on eggshells because you want me to say what you want me to say about you. If whatever your situation is, that's what I'm gonna call it. And I'm not gonna use no pronouns and all that. So I'm not doing all of that stuff. It's because I have a choice to say what I want to say. And you can't stop me from saying what I want to say because you feel offended by me saying, because you want your wrongs to be acknowledged as rights in this world. And it's right to you. It's right to you. Because it's what you want to do. You chose to do it. But it don't have to be right to me. And I don't have to like it. So if I don't like it, or if other people don't like it, we don't have to conform to that.
So is this kind of piggybacking actually on the things that Dave Chappelle said in The Closer and how they tried to cancel him? Well,
kind of, yeah. But these are things that I know that I've been talking about even before The Closer. They came out with a new. So they came out with a new it's called the Equality Act. I don't know if you read that or if you heard about it. Nope. The Equality Act is exactly what it is being, it says exactly what people are doing right now. Equality, people want to be treated equal, and because the gay community they want to be treated equal. So they created the Equality Act for the gay community to be treated equal. But what they also did is they're stopping people from saying things that they don't want. You can't say what you want to say. You don't have freedom of speech anymore. You don't have freedom of choice anymore. So the Equality Act actually trumps the the Third Amendment, the Fifth Amendment.
Mm-hmm. I think it's the Fifth.
Mm-hmm. The Fifth, yeah. The Equality Act actually trumps the amendments of freedom of speech.
What's funny to me is you talking about the Equality Act, in connection with the LGBTQ community. And what about all these years that, Black people and women have been looking for an Equality Act? What happened to that?
Exactly. But it's the same thing that Dave Chappelle says. I don't. First of all, my favorite color is green. Mm-hmm. I don't see black, white, blue, purple, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. That stuff doesn't matter to me. Mm-hmm. But in creating this Equality Act, it's really for everybody, but it was created by the LGBT Alphabet, yeah, them people. But it was created by the gay community for them. But even there was an article that I read when all of this had transpired that even pedophiles now don't want to be called pedophiles anymore.
Oh Lord.
So yeah, so everybody has an agenda based on this act, but Black people don't have an agenda based on this act. Mm-hmm. And we should, but we don't because we don't read. Now, if it was a big picture, about the Equality Act, we probably would have paid attention to it. But
if it came through reality TV.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's one of them things where, I mean, I'm doing what I'm doing, and this is why I created this platform so people can hear and talk about these things and not be scrutinized. I mean, if what I say goes on YouTube and it turns out to be something that gets a bunch of hits and people got something to say, so what? I don't care. I don't care. Just like yesterday you made the post about Country Wayne. Why do we care? Because it's his choice to do what he's doing. So does it make him bad or worse or some kind of a ignorant dude? I mean, we all should be, whether he got 20 kids by 20 different women, we should be all glad that the man taking care of all of them.
That's what I was saying, because that's not like it's anything new. That's been happening for forever. So back to the cancel culture topic. One of the things that I heard with regard to the LGBTQ community is that the reason it is getting pushed as hard and as far as it is because it is inclusive of white men. So all the other things are not really inclusive, you know, Black people, women, but this is inclusive of white men. And so it is getting further quicker than all of the other agendas of the other minority groups.
That's not true. That's not true. I'm gonna tell you what's true. The Black community doesn't get what Dave Chappelle said, we're losing in the race Olympics. The reason we're losing in this race Olympic is because we won't come together and do things like, have you ever heard of Belk, the clothing store? It's in the malls, in some of the malls around here.
I don't know if they have them here.
Yeah, it's called Belk, B-E-L-K.
I think I have heard of that.
Yeah, the gay community has sponsors. So Belk, Campbell Soup, Johnson & Johnson, the people that make Tylenol, when you buy those products and buy from them, a percentage of the sales goes to the gay community.
Really?
And they get the money, to back their agenda. The people don't know that because they don't pay attention, because they don't read, they don't look stuff up, you know. And then the gay community is full of everybody. Everybody is in the gay community, not just white people, but Black people, Asian people, Asian people. So their community is comprised, that's why they got the rainbow. Because it's a bunch of different people. It's not just Black people or white people. So when we're dealing with just Black people, just Black people don't want to come together and put their money in or look for a sponsor to back Black agendas. Black people want to back Black agendas when Black people don't want to come together and do nothing together. Everybody's afraid to be the leader. People are afraid to be the leader because Black people gonna try to shoot the leader down. Who the hell he think he is? Why he get to be the guy? Everybody want to be the chief. You know, and nobody wants to listen. But if we all come together with our collective minds and stop trying to tear each other down and hating on each other and you know, pulling the thread to create a hole in the fabric, we'll be all right. Because we know too much. We know too much. How is Black people the people that created peanut butter? and the people that created all of these things, but we can't create nothing for ourselves to become a union.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of divisiveness, and I think we point fingers at each other.
Yeah.
An awful lot. Not only divided by gender, but we're divided by light skin and dark skin. You know, we're divided by so many different things. And now throw in there those who have kids and those who don't, and of course age and stuff. You know, so yeah, we're so divided. So it's really difficult to get a group of us on the same page, unless it's a small group. You know, a small group, and then any agenda needs financing. Like you just said, they have Johnson and Johnson, the people that Tylenol. I mean, you know, those are big corporations.
Yeah,
they're tossing some substantial dollars over there.
Exactly. But nobody pays attention to that. They just see that the LGBTQ community. Okay, thank you. Everybody, nobody's paying attention. Come on, Trey. Paying attention to, you know, what's happening or how it's happening. You know, you pay attention to what's happening and you don't like it, but you still go out and buy Tylenol and Campbell soup and Johnson and Johnson and go to the store and the store is like, you know what Ross is?
Yes.
Yeah, the store is kind of like Ross, but on a larger scale, they make it look good. They make it look good, and it's in the mall. Ross is not in the mall. Ross is in the strip mall. Ross is not in the Galleria Mall.
Right.
So
how did you find out about their sponsors? That you did some digging, didn't you?
Yeah, digging. You gotta. I found out because I was looking at back when people were talking about boycotting the NFL. And to boycott the NFL, you have to boycott their sponsors. And you can't boycott the NFL sponsors because all of their sponsors have day-to-day uses. Like the people that make Snickers or make candy bars, they make dog food, they make plastic bags, they make toilet tissue, they make a lot of stuff. So you need all of those things. So there's no real way to dethrone the NFL because all of their sponsors have things that we need on a day-to-day basis. What we gonna do? Stop eating? Stop drinking water? Because that's what you have to do to boycott the NFL.
Okay.
And so in that I found out about the belts and the Johnson and Johnsons and stuff like that.
All right. Okay. So that was your you over there, you just doing hair. So I'm sitting here doing his interview and I told him it's audio only, which of course, since he is the owner of the platform, he knows it's audio only, but he has video on. So I'm sitting here watching him. And so as he's talking, he's on his second head now. You know, he did all the fancy stuff. And I was going to say something a minute ago, because did you just shave that last guy with a straight razor?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
While you doing it in the middle of an interview, you got a freaking straight razor shaving somebody. That's just wild.
I've been doing this for so long. This is easy to me. I can talk. I can talk and cut hair and shave and all of that stuff.
Well, this is the barbershop chat. It's the barbershop chat. So I guess that it really fits. It fits the chat. So I have a question for you. Yesterday, we had a pretty hot topic and it got really heated. We had callers and all that kind of stuff calling in. What's your idea of submission? Is submission outdated? Or if a woman is led properly, will she naturally submit?
A woman will naturally submit, just like a woman will naturally submit to a man that she wants to submit to. Just like a man knows or wants a woman, he does what he has to do to get that woman. But see, understand that submission has nothing to do with bowing down. Let's take that out of the equation, because that's where a lot of people get submission mixed up at. A woman that truly understands submission, she has to understand that the man that she's submitting to is submitting to someone else, and that will be God. So if people understood that, then there wouldn't be a whole bunch of conversation, because you can't submit to nobody that ain't a leader. Somebody that wants to be led has to understand that the leader was led by somebody else that was a leader. Okay. So it makes a lot of sense if people would, the world today, submission means bow down. I mean, if you've seen it so many times in movies and it was said a certain way, where the king said, or the person said, submit to me, bow down, and then I will give you great things. No, that's not what submission is. That is giving your life away and giving your things away for the greater good of that person. And that's what people think submission is.
Well, so somebody the other day, when we were having this discussion about submission, they posted the dictionary definition of submission, and it was something to the effect of being the inferior one and following the direction or authority of the superior one. And a lot of women had a real problem with that because, inferiority, I don't think there are many people that identify with being inferior to another person, especially just simply based upon your sexual organs.
So, and my answer to that, you know where I'm going, so don't even try to stop me. From a biblical aspect, I'm gonna say this first. God said, don't listen to man. Don't pay attention to what man, because men will try to deter you from the design that God has ordained. Two, from a biblical standpoint, submission has nothing to do with bowing down. It's a word that God used for people to understand how the relationship, the authority of the relationship, the natural order of things. So there's the God, there's a man, and there's a woman, and there's children, and then it repeats itself based on the children. So when the children grow up, they have to do the same thing as God, man, and the woman, and the children. That's what God said. So submitting, because we have to submit to each other, but I also have another person to submit to, which is God. So that is not, I mean, who thinks of a husband and wife and submitting as slavery when you're talking about a relationship? And excuse me, people, whoever you are, that said, that sounds ignorant to me. It sounds like people look too deep into stuff instead of looking what it says, what the surface is, what's on the surface. Don't look so deep into stuff to where now you don't want to submit to your husband or an authority figure. You submit to the police when they tell you to get out on the ground, put your face in the ground. You'll do that, but you don't want to do that for your husband. And your husband ain't telling you to get on your knees and get out.
He might tell you to get on your knees.
He'll tell you to get on your knees, but either you're praying or you're doing other things. That's not. I mean, how submissive? It's just saying it like what you just said just now. How submissive is it for a woman to get on her knees and give her man oral sex?
How submissive is it?
Yeah, how submissive is that? That's submissive.
I don't actually see that as submissive. That's actually a place of power. That's actually a place of power.
What's a place of power? Her being on her knees?
Yep, that's and the oral sex part for a woman, that's a place of power.
That's
in my opinion.
So depending on how good you are, you got some control. Stop it. That's hilarious.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. It depends on the woman that's on her knees. I
guess it does.
It depended. Some people would say that and don't know what the hell they doing when they get down there.
Well, I don't know. I don't know nothing about none of that. I'm just saying, I feel like that's a place of power, that it gives you a little control right there. But we go.
So what is it? What is it if a man is on his knees giving you oral sex?
That could be a place of power too. It might change the whole trajectory of what's going on that night.
Oh my goodness. The thought process, boy, I'm telling you. Look, I get it. It ain't that deep though. It can be that deep, but it ain't that deep.
Because we having barbershop talk. So I'm in the barbershop with you. You know how y'all men do. Y'all be like, oh, we ain't gotta have sex. Let me just do this.
Let me put the head in.
Well, that's sex. We've gone past that.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the high school thing. But every once in a while, a woman might fall prey to, let me just do this just a little bit. Let me just do just a little bit. And
all of it. Sex itself is a place of power. Sex itself is a place of power. And some people think, get that door from me. Tell dude I'm busy. Some people think that their sex is ultimate, and they think that when they get done with the person, they're gonna have a slave. And I mean on both sides, men and women. It is. I mean, sex is a, depending on how good it is, it can be a form of control.
Right.
But
it can
at the same time, at the same time, that ain't what it's for. That ain't what sex is for.
No, it's not supposed to be for control, but we both know that some people use that as a form of control. But I was just saying that because you were talking about the whole submission and being on your knees and stuff. And I don't feel like that's a place that is necessarily a bad spot. It can be. It just depends on how you look at it. And it's the same thing with submission. They say that when a woman submits, that actually is her power is in the submission, because if a woman is submitted to her man, then that gives him a responsibility to make sure that she's okay because she's submitted to him. So in all of those things, there is power. And I'm not really Christian, but they say that if you're on your knees praying, that's a place of power as well. So being on your knees, whether it's submitting or sexual or praying, all of that can lead to being a place of power. That's all I was just trying to say. I was just trying to tie the whole thing together.
Right. And I'm with you. It's just one of them things, that everybody has again, you're entitled to your opinion and the way you look at things. And one of the questions that I ask often is, who are you listening to? Who are you listening to gather the information that you're gathering, and how disturbed are you when you gather that information? How confused, not disturbed, how confused are you when you gather that information? I hear people talking, and I've heard people talking for 52 years. And I get sick of some of the stuff that I hear, because
I agree. I do as well. I do as well. I mean, and just like you, and we are on two different sides of the fence, so we bring two different understandings to the table. I've been on your side of the fence as a Christian woman in the church and as a a minister, you know, and then I've been on my side of the fence where I am now with a whole different understanding. So I really look at the whole spectrum of people when they bring their opinions and theologies, ideologies, you know, to the table. When you, the thing to me is being able and willing to accept each individual as they are and where they are on their journey in life. You don't have to agree with it. You know, you don't have to agree with it, but you have to be able, and that's supposedly, you know, you love your neighbor as you love yourself, you know, as the Bible speaks of all of this loving and understanding. Yet we find, and I say we, because it's not just me, we find that Christians and church people tend to be the most judgmental people on this earth. So how does that all fit into what that book that you believe in is teaching you?
First of all, Christian people being judgmental. Yeah, there's a level of hypocrisy, you know, because Christian people feel like they don't do anything wrong because they're in the church, because they go to church. Some Christian people, when they go to, just because they go to church, they feel like they're better than you. Just because they gather a little word and and know a few things and understand, you know, right from wrong, they're still living the way that God told them to live. And the fact that nobody's perfect will definitely help gather more understanding of people shouldn't judge. You shouldn't judge each other. So I'm not perfect, you're not perfect. However you want to live, that's between you and God. However I want to live, that's between you and God. But loving my neighbor is what I'm supposed to do. And loving my neighbor, I should be able to tell my neighbor right from wrong.
But who's right? Who's to determine what's right and wrong?
Well, from a biblical aspect,
what if your neighbor don't believe in the Bible?
If your neighbor don't believe in the Bible, it's my job to tell my neighbor that they, you know, what I know and what I believe in.
Okay, so let me ask you this. I like this. Okay, so let me ask you this. So you know, Christianity is primarily an American thing. You know, European American thing. No, if you were born in the Middle East, you would be Muslim, or you could be Buddhist, or you could be any of those other cultures. And you know, all of those different religions, they do exist. You know that they exist, right?
Do you know what the oldest religion is?
That's not what I asked you. I said,
I do know there, but I do know what I do know. So I'm gonna answer your question. Yes, I do know they exist. Okay. So my question to you is, do you know what the oldest religion is?
It should be Muslim.
No. Shame on you.
The
oldest religion is Hinduism. So if, as an African American, if you want to say, if you want to truly say that Christianity is the white man's Bible and all of that stuff, then Africans should be Hindu instead of Muslim. The oldest ever living religion is Hinduism, and Muslim religion is 750 years younger than Christianity. 850 years younger.
I would have, I'm gonna check on that information, because I am not quite sure about that. However, here was where my point is. This is my point here. You know that Muslim exists, you know that Hindu exists, you know that Buddhism exists, you know, all of these different religions exist. And guess what they all have in common?
God.
No, they all think they're right. You know, just like with the Muslims, they think that when they die, they're going to get 7 virgins or something crazy like that. You know, all of these religions think that they are right. There's like 234,000 different subcultures of Christianity that all believe different stuff. You know, like you have Lutheran, Catholic, Church of God in Christ, you know, you have all of these different subcultures of religions within each other, and they all think that they're right. You have the Jesus only church. I remember when I was dating my second boyfriend, somehow he wound up in a Jesus only church. Have you heard of Jesus only church?
No.
Jesus only churches, you have to get baptized only in Jesus' name. You know, in Lutheran church, I've been baptized twice so far. I was baptized in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, because that's what the Lutheran church said. And then when I was 21 or 22, I got baptized in the name of Jesus, because we wound up in a church and that's what they believe. So within all of Christianity, under that whole title of Christianity, you have so much stuff that conflicts within itself. But yet the book says that God is not the author of confusion. So with all of that confusion, how do you decipher what could possibly be true from all of that?
So getting baptized in the name of Jesus and getting baptized in the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost is the same thing. So you shouldn't have got baptized twice. You should have just got baptized once.
Well,
because they just said one thing.
The people who were talking to me back then, you know, and you know, they were telling me that it was not the same thing. So here you are now, 30 years later, 35 years later, telling me that it's the same thing. But the people who were in authority at the time, the pastor and his wife and, you know, all them folks, they was telling me that it wasn't the same thing, and I needed to be submerged under the water in the name of Jesus versus having 3 drops of water sprinkled on my forehead in the name of the Father, the Son, and all this is so I can get into heaven. So now, according to the Bible, regardless, I should be able to get into heaven because I got 2 keys, right?
Well, you know, again, in all of this, everybody chooses their route, or everybody chooses what you have a freedom of choice, and the choice is to find out what's right or wrong. That's the choice.
But you know, what if there is no actual right or wrong? Maybe it's just different levels of the journey, and maybe
where do you think the law comes from? Why was the law created? Why was the law created?
Because some people who was writing the book decided that they needed to make laws and add guilt and punishment so they could control all of these people and get them to do what they wanted them to do, because they created this God that was this God of love that's going to punish you and strike you down and send you to hell.
So because hypothetical, I'm your daddy.
Oh Lord.
I'm your father. Daddy. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm your father. I'm your father, and you do something wrong. And so if you do something wrong, I don't love you because I spank you.
That's what they say now. You know, that corporal punishment thing is
no. We too old for that. See, we ain't finna do that. Exactly, we ain't finna do that.
What?
Answer the question. I don't care what they say now, because now don't matter. Now only matters if you conform to now, and people feel like they can do wrong and not get punished.
So listen, so here we go. When
you ain't answer the question, no. You ain't answer
I'm about to.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I got spanked, and oftentimes because I had a cousin that was a huge liar. Oftentimes I got spanked for stuff I actually didn't do. Okay, so
but
I got
did
spanked.
Stuff.
Well,
you did do stuff right. You did stuff right.
Okay, I did some stuff, but I would say half of the time if it was because of something he said, it was a lie. So, and some of the time I wasn't getting spanked because I did something so bad. I was getting spanked because my mom was just pissed off at my dad. That's a whole different story, but I think I shared a little bit of that whole story with you about what was going on in my family, period. So I had kids. I didn't spank my kids. Does that mean that I didn't love them because I didn't spank them? Because I love them with everything in me, but I felt that there was a different way to teach them right from wrong. And so I didn't spank my kids, even though my youngest is totally crazy, but they're still, you know, normal human beings going through this life on their journey. And I don't think that beating a kid is, I mean, some kids you might have to beat. I mean, you know, but I think that that has put a lot of violence in the kids, which is what we see coming out of the kids.
Okay, so watch this. So I'm gonna give you. I'm trying to point you in the guide you in the direction. A guy runs in your house and beats you down and take all your shit. Mm-hmm. Is he wrong?
Hell yeah, he in my house and he took my shit.
So watch this. Watch this. So he's wrong. He gets caught, and they punish him and put him in prison. Are they wrong for punishing him and putting him in prison?
No, because he broke the law.
Okay, there you go. Mm-hmm. I'm done. Okay, so because the law as a father, and the law as I'm gonna stay here. The law as a father is you don't do this in my house. You don't do this at all. If you want to do something, you ask me for permission. If you do it without asking permission, you're gonna get your ass beat.
Okay, so here's the difference in what you're saying and
no, it's no difference.
Yes, hold on. Let me say it. I just want to say it. And you might agree with me, or you might not. But the difference in that is you are going by some laws that was written in a book by some men years ago that may have been high. I don't know. They were talking about what they saw and stuff. None of us were there. So we don't really know what that was.
Okay.
And so you're going by these laws, and your laws in your household. I'm sorry, I was just a little distracted. The next person up is texting me, but you're going by laws that you set yourself. So you don't know who set those laws, because that book has been translated and books have been removed and all kind of stuff has happened with that book. That is not even the same. First, okay, I won't get my beliefs in there, but what is fact is that it's been translated from different languages, and you lose and gain some things in translation. You have all these different versions now of the Bible. I mean, you can get a Bible that says just about whatever you want to say nowadays. So you have all of these changes. That book is not even what the original person wrote. And we don't know what their purpose for writing that book was, other than to control the masses, because that's what that book does. It controls a mass of people. That's what it does.
So I'm gonna say two things. And first of all, no matter how many times that book has been translated, that the Bible has been translated, no matter how many times the Bible has been translated, do you believe that a white man would write a book about a bunch of Black people depicting his own downfall?
I don't know that that's what he did. That's how it seems to be interpreted.
Revelation depict the downfall of man.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the thing about
in the entire Old Testament, the entire Old Testament, there wasn't. Matter of fact, in the entire Bible, there is not a white man in the Bible. Tell me a white man in the Bible. Tell me a white man, a single white man in the Bible, and I can go back and look it up, and I can say that I was wrong.
You know, it's
who writes who writes the Bible?
It's not about the
about a bunch of black people.
It is all of so you know what, this is very interesting that we having this conversation, because one of the other personalities on the show has a brother who has studied the discrepancies and fallacies of the Bible, and he actually wants to do a show. And I was going to wait and talk to you about it, but I'm mentioning it now. And we could talk about it more in depth later, because I know that you are Christian. So, I never want to violate it's your thing, and I never want to violate anybody's stuff.
It's not, I'm never in violation. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to argue about it.
Oh, well, he's not going to, you won't be on the show unless you want to.
Yeah, no, I can have a discussion about it, because again, God gave us freedom of choice.
Right.
So if God gave me freedom of choice, I choose to believe in what God gave me, not in what man gave me.
Okay. And so, so his show, he would have his own show. You of course would be welcome to come on his show and, zoom in like everybody else does if you wanted to be part of that discussion. But I was thinking of letting him do a show, and that would be kind of interesting, because there's thousands of documented discrepancies and flaws in the Bible that's documented.
And who are we? My man just said that, and I was going to say the same thing. But who are we to say that there are flaws and discrepancies?
Because the Bible contradicts itself. It says one thing in one verse, and then later on it'll say something completely the opposite in another verse. So
that's an understanding. That's an understanding. That's not a discrepancy. That's how you understood it.
Well, okay, no, the words say, English is we're looking at the English words, and so the English words are discrepancies of each other. It's like if you tell me that the lights are on in the shop, and then you come back and say, well, the lights are off in the shop, but I can see that the lights are actually on in the shop. But if you say both of them, then I think that you're crazy, because you don't know if your lights are on or off. So I'm not going to follow.
Do you read? You've read the Bible. You've read the Bible
many times.
And Proverbs. Proverbs is a Bible, is a book of metaphors. I will call it metaphors. I'll just say metaphors.
But this ain't just Proverbs.
This
is not the discrepancies are not just in Proverbs. They're all throughout.
No, I know. I'm using that book because that's one of my favorite books, but it's also a book of metaphors and similes. It says things, and it makes you have to think about what it's saying. And if you're thinking about what it's saying and you're confused about what it's saying, then you need to understand. You need to understand. Be able to gain better understanding. I get it though. I get everybody. I hear this all the time, all the time. And in that show, I'll join that show, and I'll also bring the old wise man in.
Okay, so I'm gonna set that show up. That's gonna be good. That'll be good. Okay, well, I guess do you have any final words before we wrap up your segment? Because our second segment is in the house, and we're about to learn about some crypto. So what are your final words for today?
My final words for today is believe in what you believe in and trust what you trust. And if we see each other in the end, then we'll know we were all wrong.
If we see each other in the end, I was right, because that means that our spirits just lived on and we go to the next part of the journey. So, and they say spirits travel together. So more than likely, I will see you on the other side.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks for being on the show today. And so your first regular show is December what?
December 1st.
No,
is it December? I have to look in the calendar.
It's like the 12th
December
17th.
December the 12th, or it was 11th, 12th, or the 13th. One of them days. I know it was somewhere around there.
Something like that. Yeah. So
12.
It'll be posted. Make sure that you send me your picture and bio like I asked you to, and yes, I will chat with you soon. We are going right over to the next segment.